All right, so I am here with Jayden Raith, who is a pickup artist in Spain. This is going to be a really interesting conversation. Might be triggering for some women, but I highly recommend staying tuned for this one because you're going to end up learning a lot. So the reason that I wanted to do a call with you, Jayden, just so everybody knows, first of all, I think we have a lot in common as far as our beliefs, and then we might have a few things that we disagree on as well. And I want to go through the things that we really agree on first, and then we can investigate our disagreements. So first of all, let's talk about what's really wrong with men today, especially when it comes to interacting with women and approaching women and their mindset to it.
Uh, I think men are pussies nowadays. And I see examples of that in my own life every day. Right now, I live in Barcelona. It's summer, it's booming. And I see a lot of guys who do want to talk to women, who don't talk to women. I meet women every day. I have a lot of friends. I work with a lot of different clients. We do weekend boot camps where I take guys out. And so I'm immersed in the culture, and I see what's going on. And a lot of men live in this repressed state of being not unwilling, unable to act on their own desire and to say what they want, do what they want, and go for what they want. And so mainly that's what I work with men on, to help them get out of their own way. Because meeting women is not really difficult. What makes it difficult for a lot of men is that they get in their own way. And so
Mhm.
if you don't get in your own way and you start acting on your desire and going for what you want and doing what you want, which is a journey, it's not an overnight thing. Little by little, you have small victories. And when I mean victories, I don't really mean like that you get something, a woman, a prize, money, this or that. I mean, you start to build some self esteem. You start to feel good about yourself. Uh, and the more you do the things that you want to do, the more you feel good about yourself. And it's a very positive cycle. And it can become very addicting. And I'm very addicted to doing right by me, you know and that's the stage and the point that I want to get other men to. And it saddens me to see men not doing what they want and acting upon what they want. And most of the time it's very pure. They just want to say hello to a girl or get a girlfriend or have some nice sex, or you know what I mean. And I believe they should, and they should take the steps to figure out how to get out of their own way, because everybody's got different problems. Some guys can talk to women just fine, but they have issues in moving it forward sexually. Other men have issues even starting conversations. Some men doubt themselves. uh, they have childhood traumas, and etc etc. And so each man have to hold himself accountable to see why he's holding himself back and figure out how to get to the next level.
You said some really good stuff there, and I think that part of the whole issue, it's really interesting. The whole pickup artist movement, which started, I don't know what it'd be, to kind of really started picking off, I guess, around 2 decades ago or a decade and a half ago. And there's still so many negative connotations that are tied to even the word, right? Pickup artist. Because it started off, and still for many coaches and men that do it, it's a very manipulative practice where it's all about tactics and trying to manipulate a woman's emotions and just using her and getting something out of it, right? It's not genuine, it's not authentic. And one of the things that I noticed on your profile is that you teach it without the tricks and tactics and all that stuff, which I appreciate. I think that's really important because you know, what pickup artistry really can be is just teaching a man to genuinely, confidently act on his desires, right? That's a natural thing, and that's a beautiful thing. And women often, with somewhat good reason, because of where pickup started, have a lot of negative judgment towards the whole practice, when really it's like, no, men are just learning how to be men again. Like, whoa, I see a really beautiful woman, I'm so attracted to her, I have to go talk to her. And when I did pickup, I very quickly just switched to only going direct, or almost always going direct, where it's like, go up to a woman, wow, I think you're beautiful, I just had to meet you, and that's it, right? Like, that's a gift that a man is energetically giving a compliment to a woman. And when it is, you know, when it's truly authentic, it's, you know, he's not giving that gift to get something back, right? It's not a manipulation. It's just, no, I just want to put a smile on her face and see if she's a cool person, and if it can go anywhere, and that's it.
I agree. I agree 100%. And you know, I don't really view myself as a pickup artist. I know that's how you introduced me. But I view
Hmm.
myself as a man, you know? And for
Yeah.
me, in my personal opinion, talking to women is the most natural thing ever. It's as natural
Yeah.
as breathing, going to the toilet, you know, as natural as walking, you know? It is an extension of me being a man, you know? And look, in society, from what I have seen from men that don't learn how to, you know, meet women, some weird stuff can start to happen. Men kind of like lie to get in a woman's pants,
Hmm.
or you know, use some deception or other forms of manipulation. uh, but it's not really necessary, you know. Women love to have sex as much as we do, if not more. You know, I'm a very sexually active person, but I can tell you all of my girlfriends have been way more horny than I have, you know, been throughout our relationship. I feel many times that I can't even keep up, you know, even though we're going at it multiple times a day or whatever, you know. And so women do enjoy men, and enjoy being desired by men, seen by men, recognized by men, but they don't enjoy being lied to. And I don't really, you know, recommend that to anyone actually. And so it's not really about pickup artistry. Um, it's just about, you know, if you're out in the world somewhere, you're at a bar, or maybe heck, you're going down to the local supermarket to pick up you know, some milk or something, and you see a beautiful girl and you have this instinct, this desire to talk to her, you just go and you do it. And it's also a skill. You can get better at doing it. Okay, you can start to understand how to present yourself in better ways. You can start to understand how to relate to women in a much better way. And when you get better at it, women respond to you in a much better way. And it's a journey. And it's something I will do until the day I die. I'll do it whether I have kids. We can talk about how I do my relationships and stuff, whatever. I do it if I ever get married. I don't really believe in marriage, you know. But let's say I do, I'd still talk to girls. I'll be talking to girls, you know, until the day they, you know, bury me, you know, because it's a joy for me. Uh, and I really fell in love with it just as much as somebody would fall in love with, I don't know, bodybuilding or you know, uh, extreme sports or skydiving. I fell in love with meeting cool people, cool guys, and beautiful women, and seeing what we can do together.
It's about just being a man. I really like that you said that, because it really is. And it's really like the art of being a man. And it's just an extension of that, right? It's an extension of being a man. And it's seen as this kind of, even today, you know, the whole, like, if we call it like being a pickup artist, it's seen as a weird, It's still often seen as like a weird, creepy thing when it's not. It's literally, that is what men are programmed to do, is talk to beautiful women, right? And see if they're interested, right? And so, but because we've been, at least certainly in my culture, Canada, all of North America, a lot of Europe, and it really depends where you go in the world. But I've lived in Canada my entire life, and certainly here it is not normal. It is not normal for a man to go up to and talk to a woman. And the only time it's really kind of socially acceptable is in a bar or club when you're drunk, right? To talk to a complete stranger. And I would never talk. I don't drink and haven't since university. But and then it's completely socially unacceptable to do it in the daytime. Walking down the sidewalk, seeing a beautiful woman, or going in a Starbucks, or walking through the mall, seeing a woman in a store, wherever it is, just going throughout your day and acting on your desires in a genuine, authentic way. And when a man doesn't have this skill, because it's so socially unacceptable still, because most men are just absolutely terrified of rejection. Very few men will take that, really go anywhere with that and learn how to do that. It's a skill set, and it's also just an extension, like you said, it's an extension of being a man. It's a big part of being a man. And if men don't know how to do it, like you said, most men will, if a man doesn't know how to approach a woman, wherever it is, in the nighttime, in the daytime, wherever, he's almost certainly not going to be living in abundance in any way, right? Because you can talk about living in abundance with money, but you can also talk about it with women, where you just truly believe that, women are everywhere. And when you want to have a woman in your life for, whatever capacity, have a girlfriend, get married to someone, to have with friends and benefits, whatever it is, you can go out and find a woman, and it's easy. But like you said, when you don't have that mindset of abundance, it's going to be much harder to remain genuine. It's going to be much harder to live a life from any amount of integrity, because you want a woman so bad and you want to keep a woman so bad. And you know that if you lose a woman, then, your life is going to suck, and you're not going to know the next time that you're able to get one. And so what are most men going to do? They're going to manipulate in one of multiple ways, or all of multiple ways. One is inhibiting themselves, right, and becoming less of a man, weaker, becoming less dominant, less of a leader, and allowing a woman to get away with bad behavior, essentially, right? Not asserting boundaries, not leading her in the way that she needs and that he needs to do to feel completely fulfilled. But then also manipulative in the other way, where he's literally trying to change himself to keep her around, and that can include, being manipulative to try to get in her pants as well, if we're going there.
And I want to add to that as well, like maybe just saying it in a different way, but I think life is about making good deals with yourself and with other people. And so if you don't feel, if you don't know, if you don't understand how to go out and meet women, if you doubt that you could go out and meet women, you'll end up in really bad relationships out of scarcity, out of fear. And I want to add one more thing, maybe controversial or whatever, but unless you've been with many women, I want to say I don't think you know what you want. It took me, after being with like 50 women, I started to have a clue. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to just talk about myself, and I started to understand how I relate to women. because they're texting you and calling you and you're going on dates, and they're testing your boundaries, and no woman is the same. Women come in different flavors. Some are hot, some are cold, some are, you know. Um, so you start to see which kind of women you fit better with. You start to understand uh, the role or the position a woman can have in your life. And I think it's very difficult to achieve that just having been with one woman or two. You have to interact with a lot of different women. And I believe you have to be with a lot of different women to know what you like and want sexually. Because what one woman can offer you sexually, maybe another woman can offer you something different. Maybe your bedroom chemistry is different. Maybe the way it is, maybe the way you spend time is different. Maybe one woman will accept some things from you, which another woman will not accept. Some women will test you a lot. Other women will test you less. Um, there are women from Russia that act in certain ways that are very different from women in Sweden. And so, I think it's really a part of becoming a cultured and educated man. You know, can you go deep with one woman and learn, a tremendous amount of things? Of course. But do you want to do that if you have one life? That's up to you. I decided to live exploring women, to figure out what I want and to understand women better. And I have to say, in my journey for 9, 10 years now, I've been going out, I've been meeting different women. I've been doing it in a way which I believe to be correct. And I've learned so much about myself that I would never learn, I believe, if I only was with one woman. And so I don't want to go on a rant, but I do believe a man has to go out, put himself out there first and foremost, because a lot of men don't even do that, you know? Don't even say hello to anybody, I believe there's like a statistic running around now online where it's like 80% of men are kind of sexless and 20% of men are banging all the chicks. And so but growing up, going to school or university and working at jobs or whatever, I did sales, I've done a lot of different things. I can say honestly that everywhere I was, there was only a handful of men who actually were enjoying women, and the vast majority of men that I got to know just on a chill basis at work or something, they had no action. you know it didn't matter if I was in university, or if I worked as sales, or if I was a manager there, because I always got to know the guys. I would go out, drink with them, talk with them. Oh, what have you been up to this weekend? Who are you seeing? And most guys be like, man, I've done nothing. uh, you know and there was a handful of men in every area, in every environment that I was in, that did very well with women, did well for themselves. And then being with a lot of women gives you choice. Now, if you decide to settle down with a woman, you won't have this like little weird feeling of that you're missing out,
Mm-hmm.
or that there's something better for you. You will kind of start to realize that there always is something better. But if you want to commit, it's because of the value that the woman add to you. And you start to see that, wait a minute, women are actually more than what's in between their legs. you know and a woman can either push you in a good direction or in a bad direction. So yeah, I put out a bunch of different things, but yeah, as I agree with you, it's not socially acceptable to maybe go out and put yourself out there. But on the other hand, what have our society come to? I mean, come on, like, now it's normal to meet people through a fucking app. It's disgusting. You're looking at some fucking stupid picture of someone and you're chatting with them. You don't know the person's energy. You can't, you know, you know. For me, I won't meet someone unless I've looked them in their a woman, unless I've looked her in the eyes and I felt some kind of energy. So and our society now is all digitalized. I'm not really a big believer in all that kind of stuff. I think it's cool if you want to go out and do dating apps or whatever, it's fine. And maybe I will do that in the future if I feel the need to. But I know that the real pleasure and satisfaction in meeting a woman for me is in the moment. And if you decide to embark on this journey, just like me, I hope you fall in love with it.
It's funny there. So first of all, it's funny because I actually did meet my wife on a dating app, but that was after many years of just meeting women on the street and wherever. And I think that there's something, and it was really just because I'm like, okay, I'm just not finding the woman I want, and let's just add something to this. And I actually found her like 2 days after I signed up, and I'd been so against the whole online dating thing, because there is, I believe, something inherently emasculating for a man if he needs to rely on apps to meet women, right? There is that whole piece of the puzzle of, you know, pushing through that major fear and chance of rejection face to face that a man is bypassing in his own development if he relies on apps. And I'm not saying, you know, don't use apps. I mean, there's a lot of advantages in many ways, but I'm also saying if you're using that as a crutch because you can't just go up to a beautiful woman that you see on the street or wherever, it's like, why are you not pushing through that fear? This is a really important fear that men need to push through, and they will feel so much more like men, right? So much more confident as a man when they can actually push through that fear, and they know that they're not dependent on some kind of app to meet women. And like you said really early on, Jayden, it allows a man to just feel so good, right? Just so good about what he's doing to move into his desires and just, you know, I see a pretty woman, I'm going to go talk to her. You feel like a man, right? In a way that very few men feel like, because they've been conditioned to not do that for whatever reason. And it blows through so many of your different fears, right? Like I grew up terrified of talking to anybody, a man, a woman I liked, didn't matter. I mean, like it was all terrifying. And for me, going out and meeting women and just meeting strangers in general, that's what really transformed me more than anything as a man, because it was my biggest fear, the idea of going up to a woman and potentially getting rejected, or going up and not having a clue what to say. And for the first few hundred women, I never knew what to say because I didn't know how to have a conversation with anybody. But yeah, it gives you such a strong sense of just inner confidence in yourself as a man that it's sort of like building a shed or like being able to fix stuff, right? It's like, I can do this. Only I think it's more an even bigger sense of being a man, just that ability. There's something that I want, there's someone that I want, I'm gonna go talk to her and see what happens. And then the other part you said about, you know, commitment, like if you choose to commit, I had a lot of very non-exclusive and somewhat superficial relationships for many years, until I got to the point where I'm like, okay, no, I just want to find the perfect woman for me and be with her forever, right? I just don't want to do this anymore. And I did want to do it for a really long time, and then I just changed my mind. I'm just done with this whole thing. But now, then it came from a place of total abundance, right? Where it's I can have, you know, a choice of tons of different women, and I chose the one that was best for me, right? I had that choice. It wasn't just, you know, whatever scraps happen to come along. No, I get to choose that, and because it's coming from that foundation of power, of abundance, it's so much easier to maintain yourself as a man, where it's like, no, I'm going to lead. It's going to be my inner vision of the relationship. And rather than slowly or sometimes quickly really compromising yourself so that you don't lose the one woman that you do get, right? It's going to be very hard, very, very difficult for a man to really continuing to be the best version of himself possible, be as dominant as he can in the relationship, lead everything in the relationship, if he's coming from a place of lack in any kind of way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So you said we were going to start off the call with all of the things that we agreed to, and
Yeah.
I do very much agree with all of that. I had something that I wanted to say that maybe I forgot about it where I added. Um, yeah, maybe it'll come back to me later. Oh yeah, actually, the point I wanted to make was this. Um, so we talked about abundance, about scarcity, about knowing what you want a little bit and stuff like that. I think what's so important is not just the ability to walk away, that you get from knowing that you can go out and meet someone, but these social skills. You learn social skills. Social skills are incredibly important for your life. Okay, so let's forget about women for a second. What I learned from going to bars, going to nightclubs, staying sober, talking to people, talking to women. That all of that transferred into any career that I have done in my whole 10 years. Whether I did sales, whether I did coaching, whether somebody had an issue with me, confrontation, another guy wanted to fight me on the street or whatever, I became very, 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 very good at problem solving. Right? Because when I went out to meet women, it's not like women were like, okay, cool, I'm going to hook up with you. No, they had issues, they had concerns, they had fears, they had, maybe I'd meet a girl in a nightclub and she's like, oh, but I can't leave my friends. I'm like, okay, cool. And I started to calmly problem solve, maybe, I navigate the situation in different ways. And because women test you, they challenge you, they give you resistance. Uh, if you choose to become a problem solver, somebody that can deal with women, a man that can handle women, that same handling transfers onto every area of your life, whether it is the gym, whether it is, business, whether it is career. If you learn how to speak up for yourself in regards to women, let's say you're working somewhere and your boss comes and talks to you and gives you a bad deal, or, you're going through something at work that you don't like, you're equally able to speak up, and so it really transfers everywhere. And that's a beauty. Um, pick up, meeting women, call it whatever you want. It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle to get you from point A to point B, or a vehicle to get you from somewhere to somewhere else. And the journey, and throughout the journey that happens, that's where you discover what it means to you to be a man.
Yeah.
Because, I want to add to this as well. One guy that I like to watch, Elliot Hulse. I don't know if you know him, but I believe I watched a video of him. Must have been about 6-7 years ago. So it stuck with me. He said masculinity is as unique to each and every man, each and every individual as a fingerprint. They're not one and the same. And so the way I conduct my relationships, the way I conduct my way of being in the world, moving through the world, is totally different from yours, but what the journey allowed me to discover was my way. And so in that sense, that's what I really help my clients with, to discover their own unique way of going about meeting women, creating relationships for themselves, that is all really based upon what you want and what's important to you. And this is something that is a very, very big gift for women to receive. A man with a plan, a man who knows what he wants, a man who, knows where he's going, what's important to him. And they can then work around that, as opposed to meeting a man who has no idea what the hell is going on. And maybe she needs to be in charge, get the ship moving, and if she's very feminine, she's not going to like that, And so, yeah.
That's a really great way to shift gears here. So let's talk about devotion now. So for anyone who's watching, the reason that I invited Jayden on is because I was just following I saw a post on his wall about, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just trying to paraphrase here, but you believed that there is no reason for a man to commit exclusively to a woman, and it might have been specific to marriage. Is that correct?
I'm talking about monogamy. Yeah,
Yeah.
marriage, everything involved. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So give us like a brief reasoning for why you believe there's, because for me, for everyone watching, I really strongly believe in monogamy, and I'm also fine with, I'm open to other things as well, and I've done other non-exclusive relationships too, but I've really shifted very hard into the idea of monogamy. And of course, I'm married to my wife. It's a very monogamous relationship. So let's talk about your views, and then I'll counter back with mine.
Okay, cool. Actually, I'll do one better. Instead of my views, I'll talk about, the way I live, because maybe they're not so far apart, but sometimes people, they have certain ideas about certain things and they live in a different way.
Mhm.
And so I want to talk about how I live. Now, I want to paraphrase this and I want to say, I don't really give relationship advice. I'm not a relationship coach. Uh, you know, uh, I give coaching and advice on starting a conversation, getting out of your own way, clearing up some of the emotional blockages that you have, and getting guys really good at going out, taking action, meeting girls, so that they then have the choice to live like you or me or
Yep.
however they want. This is, where my domain of expertise lie. I never give relationship advice unless, I'm asked to. And then I only share how I live, you know? And I say, if you agree with me, cool. If you don't agree with me, cool. Because this is the way I live. And, I'm not going to change that for anybody. And maybe that's really the best way to start this, you know? Um, my mind is my mind. My body is my body. I do with it whatever I want. And for me, that means if I desire a woman, I could be right now in a bar, in a nightclub, on the street, and I start a conversation with a girl and we're vibing. I want to go with that flow, that instinct, that desire. For me, it's important at this stage of my life, and it's been important for the last 9 years. Now, that means I won't be monogamous, right? Monogamy is being exclusive and committed to a person and not having sex outside the relationship with other people, because that would be cheating. So I don't make traditional monogamous relationships with women because that would make me a liar, and I don't want to be a liar. And I rather be alone meeting girls than being with someone, that doesn't accept how I choose to live. And so what do I do? Because when you go out, when you meet women, when you know, go on dates, there's going to be women, maybe one woman, three women, four women, five women across the years that you will vibe with much better than everybody else. Women that your time with them will be fulfilling, where it's such a joy to have sex, where it's such a joy to spend time together, eat together, sleep together, share your ideas with women that you have incredible chemistry with. When I meet such a woman, which I have now in my life, my girlfriend, uh, I tell them the program. Hey, I want to, hook up with other girls and do my thing. And if you like that, not like that, but if you agree with that, if that's fine by you, let's stay together. If it's not fine by you, I mean, there's the door, because you can't see my finger, but there's the door. Uh, I won't change this for anyone, actually, because I'm happy single. I'm happy alone. I'm happy doing and living my life the way, I live it. And so that's how I live. Now, devotion, where does that come in for me? I'm in, you know, I'm just like everybody else. You know, I can get angry, I can say bad stuff, or, you know, may not always act in the most rational way or whatever. But I'm very kind to any woman that, you know, decides to spend her time with me. I respect that she wants to be with me, you know, uh, despite how I am. And if a woman is willing to understand me and recognize me for who I am and love me for who I am, you know, and not for what she wants me to be, you know. And so I live in that kind of way. And so I do have a girlfriend now. We've been together for a year. And the way I like to meet other women is I like to be very selective. I like to go out. I socialize every day. I go to bars, I go to events, I go to parties, and I just talk to girls and guys, and I have a good time. And if there's anyone, any woman that I vibe with in a very intimate, cool, sexual, fun way, I'll enjoy her. And yeah, and if my girlfriend has a problem with that, you know, I'm willing to discuss it. I'm willing to you know, maybe see if we can, you know, continue to work it out. Maybe she doesn't want to be together with me anymore or something. It's totally fine, you know. Uh, but yeah, and if she does decide to stay with me, which has been her decision for the whole year, you know, I'm there for her in a very big capacity. I'm a very normal boyfriend. We go places, we eat together, we share stuff, we make love, all that kind of stuff. So this is a little bit of a general overview.
Yeah, that's great. So, and that's really exactly where I was coming from for the longest time, right? And that mindset is, you know, I'll live in integrity as far as, you know, being really radically honest with what I want, and anyone who wants to join me in that is great. And if you don't, then that's fine too. I'll find other women and other people that do. And then so it's interesting what happened to me. There's two parts to this. The first is that I eventually just got bored of that and really wanted something a lot deeper. And I met someone who was so far beyond really any other woman that I'd met, that I just really just lost interest. And that was funny. It was at a point in my life where I was like, I think I'd slept with like 6 women that week. I was like man whoring myself more than I ever had. And then I'm just like, I don't even want this anymore. I just want to be with this one woman. So it was great that it happened at that place, because it was at a time in my life where it's just ridiculous abundance. And then I just didn't want any of that anymore. I just wanted her. But then, you know, in our relationship, this was before I learned anything about masculine and feminine polarity. Even though I'd studied meeting women and all this stuff for years, I didn't understand polarity at all, never even heard of the term. And my relationship was okay, but there was definitely issues that started to develop throughout. And of course, I married her in less than a year. And then there was an increasing number of problems that I didn't really know how to figure out. And I was like, okay, well, I made this choice. I'm fully committed now. But, you know, there was that feeling of like, oh, just, you know, my desires to kind of be free again, right? And do whatever I want again. And so, and I really started to feel it. But here's what really shifted things for me permanently. So I had a son. He was born with brain damage. He was stuck in the hospital for several weeks. Doctors making really bad decisions for him. And I realized my entire life, I had never loved and cared for anyone as much as myself, right? Like, I was a very kind person. I could be quite giving in my own way. I liked making women happy. I liked doing all that stuff. But it is not even remotely comparable to when I had a son, where literally I would have done anything for him. And that, I mean, despite the circumstances, which were horrible, I never felt so purposeful, so alive. So like, my desires now weren't for myself. My desires were for somebody else. And that is what made me happy. And that is what fulfilled me. And that's what really opened up my heart in a way that I didn't even think was possible. I really did not think that that level of, that was the first time I'd ever felt devoted, right? Before that, I was quite kind. I could be considerate sometimes. I tried to always be in integrity, but I was never devoted, including to my wife. And so my son died after 6 months, doing absolutely everything that we could for him. Um, Absolutely horrible, of course. And I believe that he was born to really open me up in this way, to shift me into a different way of operating. Because what shifted for me, and it actually shifted quite soon afterwards, when my wife was able to be, who's a very high self-worth woman, incredible woman, but can be quite guarded and not vulnerable. She was truly 100% vulnerable with me. No blame that I had often been getting, none of that. And it was the most, it was just as beautiful and devotion inspiring as my son, right? That feeling of, I want to do anything for you, and I want to do anything to make you happy. And this is very different than like the kind of weak supplicating thing that a lot of guys do, where it's like, I'm doing things to make you happy, so you don't leave me, or so I get your approval, or whatever it is. No, it's like living to serve her, right? Living to serve my woman. And now that I'm fully operating in that mode, I could never go back to anything else, right? Which is, and I'm not saying it's wrong, operating in more like my own, focusing on my own desires, but my biggest desire now is to serve my wife, serve my woman, just like it was to serve my son in that way. And so when I talk about devotion, I'm talking about it on that level where it's, I am living to serve somebody else, in this case a woman, and that means doing, while still of course having my own boundaries and my own inner vision and all of that kind of stuff, because if I compromise that, well, I'm not being a man, but I'm operating to serve her. And part of that, right, part of that is full commitment, making her feel fully safe, making her feel, fully loved, and that, I'm never going anywhere, and creating that container for her to fully open up, to fully get into her vulnerability, into her radiance as a woman, and not have to worry. And just like with my son, like that, doing that for him, in a different way, felt so incredible, and it was the most fulfilling feeling for me. It's now the same thing with my woman. So that's what I'm talking about when I speak of devotion.
Got you. I feel the authenticity in your words and you sharing your own story. Just want to take a moment just to let it land.
Mm-hmm.
As I choose my next words. Look, I said earlier, masculinity is this individual to us as our fingerprint. It's unique. This is the way you live, and I have no problem with the way you live. It just wouldn't work for me at the stage I am now and where I am in my life. And I operate under a little bit of a different way of thinking and feeling, because I'm not you, But I serve my mission. I serve my larger scale goals. I serve where I am going, where I am heading. And I'm very ironclad in that. For me, the most important thing in life is not a woman. I can be without women for the next 5 years, no problem. It is important for me to make something out of myself, and to not make something out of myself, but to fulfill this burden of potential that I feel. I know that I have things that I can do very well. And I wish to do those things very well. And then women is like the bonus, it's just something, that adds to my life. And I'm only willing to be with a woman if she adds to my life.
Mhm.
And so that's why I'm a very big believer in first meeting a woman and starting to date casually, which is what I did with my girlfriend now, which is what I did with the girlfriend before and the before, and so on and so forth. And I can just talk about how I do things and the way I see things, because again, I don't give relationship advice specifically. But I have, in my mind, two modes of operating. The first mode is when I just meet a girl before she's my woman. And the second mode is when she crossed the threshold to be my woman. And so let me talk about both. First of all, when I meet a woman, let's say, I don't know, I go out tonight, I meet a girl in a bar, in a nightclub, or I'm going on a date or something. This is not my woman. It's just a random girl. Let's call her Jenny. I meet Jenny because I'm interested in Jenny. And I continue to spend time with Jenny because I vibe with Jenny and the sex is great. We're having a cool time, whatever. I like to date casually for around 6, 7, 8 months. And this is where I vet the woman. I don't really ask her uh, to be devoted to me, to support me, to be a big part of my life or something. In this time, we are just let's say fuck friends, and I take this time to really get to know the girl. Ask her about her dreams, her visions, her hopes. I see how she interacts with her friends, the places she goes. Uh, and during this time, I don't ask a woman either to only be with me either. I always tell women, do whatever you want to do in this beginning period, this period where we're dating casually, because I want to see how she is and who she is when I give her total freedom. And so I take this time to vet her carefully. And during this time, again, I focus on my life, where I'm going, my mission, and I spend once or twice a week with the girl, slowly getting to know her, hooking up, having fun, maybe going places together. Then after a while, we start to really get to know each other. 6 month mark, 7 month mark, 8 month mark. Uh, During that time, there's feelings, there's shared history together. We've been through some things, most likely. And I'm always going deep with women. I talk about whatever I want, but if I'm afraid of something or something, I don't, I just express myself. I don't really have a fear of a woman leaving. I just say whatever I want. I do whatever I want. Uh, and, if you don't like it, I can replace you. No problem. And so during the initial stage, I'm very kind, caring, and getting to know the girl, and it's very light, playful, chill, relaxed. Then after a while, I date multiple women. There's always going to be one that sticks out more than the others. One that I have more chemistry with, more connection. And usually, in my own experience, this is the one woman who's pushing to get in a relationship with me. Not all women I meet are pushing to get in a relationship with me. A lot of women are just happy just meeting me casually and having fun. But usually, is the one that I have the most chemistry with that really wants to get in a relationship with me. Because if I can feel it, she can feel it. And so we have this thing we share together. And then I say, cool, I'm willing to do a relationship with you. I'm willing to be your boyfriend, and I'm willing to be there for you through your struggles and support you in ways you have never even imagined. But we got to do it on my program. And my program is, I'll be there for you. I'll do things for you. We're going to have an amazing time together, but you have no say over who I go out with or, who I hook up with. And also, I don't allow women when they reach the my woman stage, which I only do with one woman. So I don't have multiple girlfriends. I don't allow them to date other guys in that stage. So they've had a long period of total freedom, and then when they're really pushing to get in a relationship with me, and I really feel like I want to get in one with them, I'll say, yeah, we can get into a relationship under these terms. and then I'm a very normal boyfriend in every capacity of the word.
So, okay, so let's talk about that then. So if you're in, so you've eventually created this situation where women are not dating other men, you're still
Yeah.
dating other women.
No, I don't date. I
Oh,
I I I enjoy casually.
sleep with other women.
Yeah,
Sleep
yeah.
with other
I
women.
make sure not to. I don't really want to have like two girlfriends at the same time or something like that, you know? Usually what I do now is maybe I'll hook up with a girl once or twice and then we can be friends or something, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it, so I'm all for, you having your own inner vision and leading forward in that respect. How does it hit you, the fact that one of the most important needs that a woman has is the need for security? And like, if we're looking on a bigger picture, like the need for full devotion from a man, like how can you offer that if you're also still seeking out sex from other women?
I know that both is possible because I've lived it. And how do I offer it? By being myself truly. When I meet any woman, there is incredible trust because she knows I act in integrity, in line with what I do. And, it doesn't mean that women don't challenge me. In fact, I've chosen a tremendously difficult lifestyle.
Mhm.
It'd be far easier just to, be devoted just to one woman. I mean, I guess that has its own, challenges. And I also do see that side. We could talk about that in just a little bit. But my woman challenges me tremendously on my decisions. But when I stand firm and I'm unshakable and I'm unmovable and I'm just there loving her anyway, wow, that makes her go crazy for me in the most marvelous way. And she does then feel safe. And she does then feel trusting. And I never lie to her. If she asks me anything, who have you been with recently or what, no, I just say it. I never lie. And again, I continuously build. Uh, she challenges me continuously, and I stand firm in what I want, with total honesty, with total integrity, and there her love for me grows. Is there sometimes where she gets mad at me for certain things? Yes. Is there sometimes where we have disagreements about things? Yes. But in our arguments, in our disagreements, I always make clear to her that I love her. And I always tell her, look at how I'm spending my time. And she always sees and recognizes that I'm pretty much 90% of the time with her. And once in a while, I do have a one night stand, you know. But I do talk to women on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, because I teach it, I coach it. I take guys out to bars, nightclubs, that kind of. So always around it, you know. Uh, but I do only right now enjoy the women that we do got something, like it's just a weird chemistry in the air. Not weird, but more like magnetic. We're just drawn to each other, and so those are the women that I do enjoy. How do I make her feel safe again? I don't want to, deviate. How do I make her feel safe? I make her feel safe by standing in my integrity and reassuring her continuously.
Right. So, and I agree with you partially, right? Obviously, having strong boundaries, having strong integrity, not stepping out of your truth just because, a woman might get pissed and leave. Obviously, there is going to be an element of like a woman, for example, even if a woman's in a committed monogamous marriage and a man doesn't have that, then he's not going to feel safe to her. 100%. I agree with that. So you've got the dominance, and there's no
I do,
question
yeah.
that
I
you've
I'm in
got
charge of everything. Yeah.
right. But what is missing there is that full devotional piece where her needs are equally as important as your own. You might be very caring, right? You might, do a lot of things for her, but ultimately what's happening is she's with you because you obviously offer a lot that most men don't, including most men that can be are willing to be monogamous, right? But she has to dishonor her heart to stay with you to a degree, because even though you do offer her so much, what she really does need is that safety of a monogamous relationship where you are fully devotional to her and where her needs are equal to your own. Whereas what it sounds like is your needs are above hers.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I've contrarily, contrary to popular belief, when people maybe listen to me speak about this, I've really thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have chosen, I'm not just doing this because I think it's cool or because I heard it somewhere. It fits me very well. And when I operate in my strength, I'm able to give my best to others, being in my own element. And ultimately, these are just words. But what I'm trying to say is this. My girlfriend have been in very serious, committed, monogamous relationships before, and she got bored of all of those guys.
Yep.
And she has, uh, not been bored of me a single time since we met. What we have is incredibly interesting for her. And, I am by no means a dictator. She's free to go if she wants to,
Mm-hmm.
and I sometimes encourage her, if you really want something that's, you know, extremely safe, you can go ahead and find a guy that can give you that. This is what I'm willing to offer, and but if you're here, I'm here to reassure you, and not only reassure you, I believe I can lead you better than other men can, and I will not fail you, you know, as long as we are together. And we do have our issues outside hooking up, that are just day-to-day relationship issues. And we are continuously always working on that. Uh, Most of our problems actually have nothing to do with the fact that I sometimes hook up with other girls. It has everything to do with just random regular arguments, or like, disagreeing on certain things that are so normal, man, So we don't have too many arguments on what I do. She knows that I'm a coach, what I do for a living and everything, And so she has chosen me. And I also believe that each I believe in the wisdom of the feminine. Maybe it's the best way to say. I don't believe women are stupid. She knows exactly what I'm about and
Mm-hmm.
who I am, and she have made an active choice to be with me because she feels it benefits her. Now we talk, and I can tell you what I do, but it will never amount to the way I make her feel, you know and the way I'm there for her. uh Early on in our time together, we had been meeting for 3 months. She lost her job, you know, and we were in the just casual kind of friends with benefits kind of stage, and I really took a moment to help her find a new job, you know, and to help her get on her feet. I leveraged my networking skills. I made sure she got on job interviews and things of that nature. I asked my friends if they could offer her a job, whatever. And now she actually did find uh, work that she's incredibly happy with. So she knows when she's has trouble, she has issues, I'm there like this. And I have been there for her in our short period of time of 1 year, more than all of her boyfriends combined. And so what I have been doing with her is incredibly powerful. Um, she, as much as me, enjoys our dynamic of she challenges me a lot. I love being challenged, and I never move an inch, and she loves that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably gonna be the dude that uh, we're I don't know, we're together. Let's say we're together for another 5, 7, 8. Now, like, let's say we are like old grandmas and grandpas, and I'm there. I'm the dude that's gonna be like on the wedding of somebody else, trying to grab the bride, as she's walking up the aisle, make it laughing and like, you know what I mean, like the fun uncle kind of character who, that's me really in a nutshell, so yeah. I've been kind of ranting on, but I hope it gave you the answer that you're.
Yeah, no, and so it's good. So it's so interesting because literally if it was 5 years ago, we would be agreeing on literally everything. Literally, we would have no disagreement. I don't
Wait,
even know if we would find any.
we'll say one thing, just squeeze it in right here.
Mm.
This is how I live now, but I'm
Mhm.
very adaptable. If in 2 years or 6, 7 months or next 10 years I want to change my mind, I'll be the first one to say, hey, I changed my mind, but I don't know if it's gonna happen, because I did live I've had monogamous relationships.
Mhm.
And I wanted to say this because I said earlier, that I do see the benefit and recognize the benefit in monogamous relationship. If you look at Christianity or the Bible or something like that, uh, many other religions, they talk about sacrifice. And so when you are in a relationship, in a monogamous relationship with somebody, what do you have to do? You have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice what? Potential upcoming fun situations with new people. You have to sacrifice random pleasure for random short-term pleasure for long-term gain in your relationship with your significant other. Sacrifice is incredibly powerful. It builds character. And so, whether you go do fasting, okay, why do the Muslims fast for a month, Ramadan? Why? It's to build character, is to understand the other side, of poverty. I do fast every day as well. That pain of sacrifice, that pain of not acting on your short-term decisions, desires, to sacrifice that for something that you believe, something that you think is the greater good, is powerful, man. And I was a very monogamous guy who, again, think about it in the reverse way. I would meet, I would, be monogamous to a woman. She was from Russia, beautiful girl. I was a monogamous relationship with her for a long period of time. And just like now, with my girlfriend, I don't move an inch when she challenges me on my beliefs. In the same way, flip that around. When I was monogamous with my Russian girlfriend at that time, if I was in a bar, in a nightclub, and a woman would hit on me, I wouldn't move an inch. I'd say, I have a girlfriend. If you want to talk to another guy, you can go over there. I had the same level of strength and integrity. I just chose to use it in that way in that period of my life. And now I'm choosing something different. It's all about choice in the end, and that's why, it's so cool that my girlfriend can meet me that operates in this way, and your wife can meet you that operates under devotion, under your set of principles and rules and so on and so forth. And what the beauty is that women have the choice of which man she wants to submit to and under which conditions. But every man's got to have a plan. He's got to have a way. He's got to have somewhere he's going, in my opinion, so that she can work around that. And I don't think my lifestyle is uh, uh, better or worse than my monogamous lifestyle. It's just, it fits me better, and if you're listening in on this today, now, I don't actually know how many people are watching, but if you're listening in on this now, make a choice. Choose for yourself what you want. And if you choose to live in Zach's way or my way or even a different way, try it out. See how it fits for you. My lifestyle was a test before I realized that it was great for me. You know what I mean? And so I had to try it out. This is not the first girl I made this with. You know, I had a couple of failed relationships before doing the same thing. And so I understand, you know, how to do it in a bad way and how to do it in a little bit of a better way. I respect monogamous guys. You know, if you want to do that, do that. And, you know, if you're monogamous and you want to, I just believe in communication. You know, with that very same woman that I was highly devoted to and monogamous for, where I didn't move an inch on acting on my desire towards other women, where I sacrificed for the greater good in my relationship with her. After a long time of us being together, living together, one day, very slowly, I started to realize that I just don't want to be committed to a single woman. And I engaged in communication with her. And so that's what I'm trying to say. Communication is the most important part. As soon as I decided to change my lifestyle with that specific woman, I started to communicate with her first before changing my lifestyle. And so we started engaging in talks. And then after that, we made some agreements. And then I changed my lifestyle. Ultimately, that relationship ended not because I started to date other women after that, or sorry, because I started to sleep with other women. Again, it was because we had too many disagreements that were not about sleeping with people.
Great.
You know.
Okay, so I'm gonna say my final points on this. You said a bunch of great things. And if you have anything else to say, you can go ahead. And then also you can just say if anyone wants to, any men want to get in touch with you, you can give that spiel. Okay, so about the sacrifice thing. So I don't even see anything in my relationship as sacrifice at all. I used to. If I even said 2 years ago, 100%, it does not feel like sacrifice. And it was the same thing when I had my child, my boy, where, you know, a lot of it was hard as fuck, like what I was doing. But because my heart was just 100% open to him in every way, and I was giving to him through my devotion, through my leadership, it did not feel like a sacrifice. It just felt like this is what I love to do. I literally cannot do anything other than this, because my greatest need, the only thing that I want to do is give to him and make sure that every single one of his needs are met. And if we're using a baby, it's actually a really good analogy for a woman's heart, because a baby is never trying to get an outcome from a man, right? He or she is never trying to lead a man. He's just expressing, he's just crying like, my needs are unmet right now, right? And that's a very innocent, an innocent way of communicating needs, where it's like, I just want to give to you. I want to give everything to you. And where women will often go wrong is they will try to get outcomes from a man, right? They will try to lead in some kind of way, either directly, right? Do this for me? Can you do this for me? Or covertly with some form of manipulation. And arguing as well, right? Any kind of argument is when a woman is trying to get an outcome. She's trying to convince. She's trying to resist a man's leadership. And that is going to very rapidly destroy a man's devotion for her, right? And that's one of the big things I teach is, women, stop fucking doing that. And the way to inspire a man's devotion is for a woman to become fully vulnerable, fully let go of all control, fully just express from her heart. Because in a very similar way, when a high self-worth woman who really has self-worth, has self-esteem, she just expresses from her heart vulnerably. She just says what makes her feel sad or makes her feel shame or makes her feel happy or whatever it is, not trying to get anything from a man. It's a very similar thing as with the baby, where a man whose heart is open is like, I can't not give to you. Well, still keeping his integrity and his boundaries and everything, but I just want to give to you. And the thing that feels the most fun and fulfilling for me is to serve you, is to give you my leadership in a way that's truly devotional to you, to make sure that every single one of your needs is met, so that both of our needs are fully met. And the reason that a lot of relationships, a man just starts to lose interest, and I felt this, right? I felt it periodically in my marriage for sure, and no longer do, is because a woman in some way is trying to control. She's trying to resist. She's not being fully vulnerable. She's not fully honoring her heart in a feminine way. She's not radiating that feminine energy. And because a man's not getting that from her, his needs aren't fully being met, right? A man's greatest need is to lead everything, and for a woman to fully respect his leadership, and for him to be received all the time, right? Be fully received, and she is just expressing how his reception, how her reception of him is making her feel, and that's it. And when a man can lead a woman, because most women, unless they're taking my Radiant Academy course, most women are not going to know how to do that. So a man needs to learn how to fully lead her into that, right? Into that radiance, into that full respect, where she's not trying to control anything, including like these arguments should just not exist at all anymore. And she needs to be led into that and shown like, this is not how you communicate with me. You do not argue. And that's of course what I teach in my Dominant Man Academy. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, shortly about arguments, I'm always open for challenge or open for argument or discourse. I like it.
And by the way, this is you wrap this up. So anything else you've got to say, you go for it, and then just
yeah. I think it's great that you teach women. Women don't get incentivized to actually learn about relationships or, learn about dating or learn about being with someone, And I believe women should be in self-development equally as much as men who want to improve themselves. And so I love that you teach women how to be devoted and how to, correct me if I'm wrong, how to be submissive to a man, and how to operate under his leadership, And so I wanted to say that a lot of guys ask me, what do you do when you get in arguments with women or something? I'm open for arguments, but you have to be careful how you talk to me. I don't allow you to scream at me or embarrass me in public, or then I won't talk to you. I'll just tell you to go home, or I say we pick this up another day. And so something I want to tell women, it was a really great, like I used to go out with this girl. She was from Ukraine. And one of the cool things she said to me is, if I ever have a disagreement with my man when I'm in public, I'll wait till we get home. That's pretty cool. And so, you don't want your reputation to be ruined as a guy, especially me. I have like a lot of business deals with different people or things going on in my city. Like I'm a public figure where I live, I'm not going to have some girl screaming at me, so I always, tell my girl or any girl that I'm dating, as soon as they start raising their voice or I say, be careful, you can't speak to me like this, and especially not in public. So I just wanted to just say that. I don't know why. I wanted to put it out there. Wrapping up. Cool. I enjoyed being on here today. It was a little bit of a challenge for me to come on because I had such a hectic weekend, and I'm still kind of recovering. And I was in the gym doing deadlift, and I saw stars, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm in no good shape to be on anything. But that's why I came here. Sorry?
Challenge yourself.
Exactly. And ultimately, as a guy, it's such a joy to challenge yourself. It's such a joy to see what you are capable of, And if you feel that you're stuck somewhere in your journey to meet women, start conversations, put yourself out there. If you're struggling with being in your head, if you're bored with your current lifestyle, hit me up. And let's start working together, because this is what I specialize in. Again, I'm not really a relationship coach. I just shared, how I live, and you can agree with that or you can disagree with that. I don't care, because this is the way I live, But that being said, you can find me on Facebook, Jayden Raith, and you can find me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is His and Her Experience. So and like an and sign, you know. Or you can just YouTube Jayden Raith, and you're gonna find me there as well. Instagram at jraith. You can find me there. Could you help me put links or something on the thing?
Yeah,
Or
afterwards, yeah. I'll just send them to me and I'll do that.
cool. And yeah, I loved being on here. And you know, I've discovered what is working for me from actually going out there and putting myself out there and trying different things. It's being open-minded that led me to where I am now, and I'm open-minded to see where, I'm open to see where it leads me, in the future. And maybe, who knows, maybe one day I'll be back and I'll say, the same things that you said. Oh, 5 years ago I was, maybe, I don't know. I'm open-minded, but I can tell you my truth now.
Mhm.
And this is my truth now.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah. Thank you for coming on. That was an awesome call. Respectful conversation. It's the way I love to have them. If anyone watching is excited and maybe a little scared of the idea of working with me, you're really a woman who really wants a devotional man who takes care of her heart, and a man who wants a woman who fully respects his leadership and will submit to him, and is just able to truly be vulnerable and radiant. Go to relationshipofyourdreams.com. Go to the Radiant Woman or Dominant Man Academy and book a free call with me. And we'll talk all about what you're experiencing, all the problems you're having in your love life, and we'll find out if you are right for the program. So that's relationshipofyourdreams.com. Thanks, Jayden. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you.